We appear to be live. Excuse me, people. I had a moment of doubt there, whether or not that this was all working. Welcome back. This is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Spirit of Justice, the Android version, and this is gonna be part 11 of this blind playthrough, and this should be, in theory, the finale. I am pushing it tonight all the way to the end. Well, this case is still fresh in my memory since we got started on it just this afternoon. Hey, Monica, welcome back. Hope you're still doing good. We're about to continue. Great timing. Oh, okay, well, I didn't plan on it being a great timing, but okay, there we go, I guess. Yep, okay, so I arrived at this point in the investigation earlier, so let us continue now. I still can't get over how gorgeous Sprocket Manor is. Just don't touch anything. I wasn't going to. She was definitely going to. This is Maya we're talking about. I was told I had guests. Thank you for seeing us, Soren. We know you're busy. You just turned on the computer. Oh well. It was just a coincidence then. A happy coincidence. A happy accident. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the case if you wouldn't mind. Soren, you're Ellen's lawyer, right? You've forgotten already? Yes, that's right, we met before. Don't tell me he doesn't remember me. Will Ellen be found guilty? We're doing everything we can to prevent that. That's why we're here investigating. There are only happy accidents. Life can have not so happy accidents sometimes. Well. Will you please tell us what you know? Excuse me. Soren? Sorry, Soren. Alright. What was that pause all about? He needed to finish thinking about the thing he was thinking about. I know all too well. Okay, how about presenting some evidence, perhaps? What can you tell me about this? What are you showing me that for? That's what he already told me before when I tried. Okay. Nothing new then. Let's try talking first then. The cover-up. It was you who gave the order for that large-scale cover-up plan, isn't that right? What large-scale cover-up? Don't play dumb with us. You held 2 wedding receptions in order to try and cover up Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. Ellen thought that. Through the power of the timekeeper you built, she traveled back in time. It reminds me of someone from an older case. I'll try to find the character. He reminds me a little bit of Yanni Yogi, the guy with the parrot in the first game, in the sense that he is off in his own little world most of the time, but that's probably not who you're thinking of, though. Maybe someone more similar, I suppose. So that's why there were 2 receptions. Wait, does he seriously not know why the reception was held twice? Vera Misham from Apollo Justice? I would have to see a picture of her to remember exactly who that is. Blue hair painter? Yeah, maybe. I think I may remember, actually, yeah. Wait, does he seriously not know why the reception was held twice? Looks like I'll have to delve deeper here. So the cover-up scheme, that fake trip through time, you're not the one who was behind it all? Pierce sneakily stated in court that you were the one who ordered it to be carried out. Pierce said that? I see. I leave him in charge of everything around me. So whatever he decides is, in a sense, my decision too. Okay. Yeah, that explains a lot. So I take it that you didn't know anything about the cover-up. For all we know, during his own wedding ceremony or banquet and stuff like that, he was still working. Like, notebook in hand. pen in the other. That's none of your business. But you were in 2 wedding receptions in a row, and still you claim to know nothing? I have nothing more to say to you. Please leave. Ah, come on. We're trying to get your wife freed, for crying out loud. Okay, excuse me. Just... Okay, there we go. But Soren, do you want Ellen to go to jail? Ow! You found it? Ah, yeah, this one. Yeah, indeed. It's quite a good one, too. Yeah, it's from one of the HD ports, I guess. This sprite, in particular. Because it's way more high resolution than on the DS. Right. But thank you, Monica. I do remember her now. There's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Go away. It doesn't get clearer than that, huh? He's looking especially uncooperative, but maybe I can grab his attention somehow. There's still that one piece of evidence I don't know much about. It's worth a try. Pardon me. What, the time travel device? I made a stain. Excuse me. No, not that. Present. You're welcome. This one? Come on, you gotta tell me something about it. What are you showing me that for? But come on! What, it's not that piece of evidence? What is it then? This? No. Does this bring anything to mind? Even so small, vague detail will do. I like... The plane arrives at Phoenix super slowly. Phoenix just stands there and gets it in the face or something, and he's like, ow, ack, every time he receives it. This guy really doesn't want to talk, does he? Like, he couldn't possibly avoid it. No, he has to stand still and wait till it slowly arrives in his face or something. So silly. What's the piece of evidence we don't know much about? I want this? Cis. I believe they might be similar in the whole, having a hard time showing emotions. My back hurts. I'll be glad when I have a solution for this. I'm sure your sister would want the truth of this case to be known. How rude. Is intruding on the private lives of others a part of your job as a lawyer? Oh, I apologize. I guess showing him the picture of his sister wasn't such a good idea after all. Okay, that's not the piece of evidence we had to show him then. What's this? No. No. What, this? No, that's not it. And now, every time I make a mistake, I have to wait patiently for the thing to arrive in my face. Photo of victim. This? No. I'll have to try every single piece of evidence one by one. Probably not this either. Yeah, it's what are you showing me that for? It's probably not that. Probably not that either. The fog machine, I don't see what that will have to do with anything. Not the drawing. Or this, or this. Ah, maybe this is it. Sorry, have you ever seen this before? That's... Ah, okay, we seem to have something here. What's it gonna be? The lock thing? Psyche locks? Soren, what is it? Nothing. Why did this whole demeanor change all of a sudden? He's gone pale as a ghost too. What was that? Soren? Nick, look at his stomach. He's bleeding. Somebody help. Soren's collapsed. Master Soren, get him to the hospital quickly now. Uh-oh. Poor Soren, that must be one serious wound. What is it, Nick? Well, when I showed him the candelabra, his whole demeanor changed. So I was just thinking that maybe his injury is... Huh? What's this? It's Soren's notebook. You must have dropped it in a rush to get him to the hospital. His notebook, huh? I wonder what's written in it, don't you? Come on, you know you want to take a peek. Go ahead, do it, and then you tell me what's in it. Soren's notebook. What to do? What to do? I know I shouldn't, but for the sake of my client, I really should. It's not the nice thing to do, but for my client. I feel guilty snooping around in somebody's personal notebook, but maybe we should take a little look-see. Why? It's filled with big words written in tiny letters. I like that sentence. Big words written with tiny letters. I guess he uses this notebook to write down his invention ideas. Huh. What is it? Did you find something? After March 8th of last year, the content of this notebook changes dramatically. Like how? Well... Ever since that date, Soren's been writing down every detail of his life, as in every. Maybe he decided to start keeping a diary, but this is way too detailed to be an ordinary diary. Maybe he has a psychological disorder, like memory loss or something, and his notebook is the only way that he can remember something. Either is really compulsive, or maybe just plain forgetful. I think it's probably the latter, but like in a disorder sort of way, no? Is it really as simple as that? I feel like something happened on March 8th, that's my brother's birthday, that made Soren change. Excuse me. Why don't you let me take a look at that and I'll tell you. Hey, Maya, let go or we'll rip it. Eep. Aw, come on, you didn't rip it. Now look what you did, you dropped it. Should have just let me take a look. How is this my fault? Oh no, Nick. Huh? It fell into that pool of Soren's blood. Your brother was born and it mentally damaged Soren. Was it 1995? Uh-oh, you're gonna get it now. I guess it really is my fault after all. Let's just put it away carefully for now. We can't let anything else happen to it, you hear? Soren's notebook added to the court record. Hey look, there's something sticking out of the notebook. It looks like a newspaper article. Let's see, it's about the car accident Soren's sister died in. It happened on March 8th. That's the day Soren's notebook completely changed. Oh wow. What else does it say? It says the driver at the time of the accident was Dumas Gloomsbury. Is that The accident in which his sister died? Yeah, that's probably it, actually. That would make sense. It says Soren was in the car too, and that he had sustained severe injuries. It's just like Pierce said. Soren completely changed after the accident. Newspaper article added to the court record. So Gloomsbury was driving the car when they got into that accident. That opens up the distinct possibility of Soren holding a grudge against Gloomsbury. You think Soren could have... I don't know, it's not like I have any proof. We should talk to Pierce about this when we return Soren's notebook to him. Though he doesn't seem to be here right now. Maybe he is at the Flying Chapel? Also, yeah, I have confirmed now that that pterodactyl shape that Larry Butts thought he saw through the window, it comes from that sign, the broken one on the right. It's upside down, actually. I confirmed that earlier. It's exactly the same shape, so that can't be a coincidence. I sure hope Pierce is around here somewhere. Ah, Mr. Wright and Miss Fay. Hello, Pierce. We were just looking for you. I'm sorry for Master Soren's sudden departure earlier. You have my sincerest apologies. It was totally understandable, really, but shouldn't you be at his side right now? It's fine, the other servants are with him, and I am in constant contact with them. Do not forget to give him his pain medication and be sure to keep him hydrated. Also, see to it that he is not up and about. He needs complete bed rest. Is this what happens when you're too rich for normal peasant phones? I must return to Master Soren now, but... Did you want something of me? Actually, here's Soren's notebook. He dropped it when he collapsed. I hope Pierce doesn't notice the bloodstain. Oh, thank you very much for this. I will see to it personally that Master Soren gets it back. Does Phoenix know about the sign? Not yet, no. Not at this point in the story. No. Soren's notebook given to Pierce. I trust you did not look inside. Well... Oh, of course not. Because it is filled with numerous patent-worthy ideas, you see. Look, I know you're busy, but would you mind if I asked you a few questions about the case? Also, I think I noticed that the pocket watch that he has is in the picture where the sister is. I still have to confirm that, actually, but I think I saw something that resembled that earlier. Bronze or gold-colored pocket watch like that with that red symbol on it. As I said, I must be getting back to Master Soren. Come on, man. So if you could make it quick, I would greatly appreciate it. Alright, I'll make this as quick as I can. I'd like to confirm what I said. Oops. Okay. Right, so you have the sign here. I'll show the little drawing. Okay, so you got the beak, I guess. The wings, the back of the head, the tail, and what looks like an eye. And if you look at the panel, or the sign, the board, I guess, you've got the beak here. That little island is the eye, the back of the head. This is one wing, this is the other wing, and this is the tail. It's exactly the same shape, it's just flipped, rotated 180 degrees, I guess. But it's the same shape, so that has to be what he saw. And then I wanted to look at the picture. Yeah, there's the pocket watch. I thought I had seen it. Okay. But it's the same. That's probably gonna be relevant at some point. So these are two things to keep in mind for the investigation later. Probably in court, we'll see. The cover-up. I'd like to ask you about the cover-up you tried to pull off, if you don't mind. I told everything there is to tell in court yet already. Disposing of anything that may harm the Sprocket family's reputation is simply a part of my job. Sounds like a lovely job description. I have nothing more to say on the matter. I will say I do not think it's wise to spend time on topics that have already been discussed. Alright. The accident. Pierce, could you tell us more about this accident? Where did you find that? Sadly, Larry's drawing will once again be relevant in court. Yeah. That wouldn't be a first. Well, that case with Dahlia, as I recall, he was painting something in that one. Something about the bridge? No, didn't he draw the bridge on fire or something like that in that case? I think he did. Where did you find that? And did I not already tell you about that accident? You did, but you conveniently left out one crucial detail. The fact that Dumas Gloomsbury was driving the car at the time. Oh, did I not mention that? I suppose it simply did not come up then. Yeah, because you'd forget something like that. If Mr. Gloomsbury caused the accident, drew a bridge and a person floating in the air, yeah. Because he painted it upside down or something like that, I don't know. Something along those lines. Excuse me, ups. I'll reply this. Okay. Yeah, upside down. Yeah, that was it. If Mr. Gloomsbury caused the accident, why didn't the Sprocket family fire him? Wouldn't that usually be the natural consequence of such a huge mistake? Please do not misunderstand. Gloomsbury stayed on with the family. But on Master Soren's request. What? That is the type of person Master Soren is. Yeah, I wonder. Perhaps it was the influence of Miss Selina's kind nature. She was such a sweet person that even in her last moments, she thought of Master Soren. Not only did Soren not hold a grudge against Gloomsbury, he insisted on keeping him on. Now I really don't understand how that guy's mind works. Selina's last moments. So you were present for Selena Sprocket's last moments? You found it? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah, but it's upside down indeed, yeah. Larry's Bridge Sketch. Yeah. That the name of the file tells you all you need to know. Why is it not working? Okay. Yes, in my professional capacity. The accident happened on the way to a certain party. And what kind of a party was it? It was Miss Selina's engagement party. Gloomsbury's injuries were minor, but Miss Selina's and Master Soren's were critical. They were brought to the Sprocket family's regular hospital. Wow, to have such a terrible thing happen on what was to be a day of celebration. Thanks to the surgeon in charge, Master Soren pulled through. Yo, Mush, how's it going? What's up? But Miss Selina, she died. The last words Miss Selina said to me were, "Who was she engaged to? Please help Soren." If she was engaged to the butler, actually that would make a lot of sense. Why he may have wanted revenge on Gloomsbury, and why he has the pocket watch. Doing good, just got home like an hour ago. Chilling now? Awesome. Awesome. Ever since then, I have attended Master Soren and tried to help him in any way I can. I see. Selena's fiancé must have been devastated. Indeed. The shock of losing Miss Selina was so great he quit being the surgeon. He was a surgeon? He did also draw in Ace Investigations 2 the desert case. Okay. Yeah, this I have a harder time remembering. So the surgeon who tried to save them both, was he? Yes, he was Miss Selina's fiancé. Ah, what a terrible tragedy. How awful. So where is her fiancé now? Dessert. Yeah, okay. Not desert. Dessert. Good question. I wonder that sometimes myself. So Selena had a fiancé. I'd like to find out more about him, but I doubt I'll find him anytime soon. It's the kind of game where they put that kind of phrase out there when the person is just standing right in front of you, so I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. Although they say he was what? A surgeon? You're eating snackoos. Like the real kind of snackoos. Okay, the shock of losing Miss Selena was so great he quit being a surgeon. He was a surgeon? Yeah, so the surgeon who tried to save them both was... Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was him. We'll see if I'm right about this, but we'll see. Carinto. Ah, okay. Okie dokie. The real kind. So are we done here? I'm afraid I must be going. Could you please just tell me a little more about Sorin? There is nothing more to tell. I can't seem to get any real answers out of him just by asking him questions. But there is that piece of evidence I still don't know much about. Maybe he'll be able to tell me something about it. You haven't had them for a while, but I saw them in the Combini and it reminded me of Ace Attorney. Yeah, I imagine how it would. Pierce, have you ever seen this candelabra before? No, I don't know anything about it. Bam, bam, bam. My Magatama reacted. Pierce must be trying to hide something from me. I have to break those psyche locks and find out what. Take that! Pierce's secret. Pierce, you're hiding something from me about this candelabra, aren't you? It is one of the candelabras from the Flying Chapel, is it not? Is there something special about it? Actually, yes, there's some blood on it, you see. I think the blood might belong to this person. Take that! You're a master? You're a master of puppets? Sorin has a rather nasty wound on his body, doesn't he? Yes, Master Sorin is indeed injured. Are any of the other people involved with this case injured? Not as far as I know. I see. Then let me ask you this, Pierce. Do you suppose Sorin could have been more directly involved than you're letting on? What in the world would make you think that? Oh, I got my reasons. Mr. Gloomsbury's fingerprints were found on this candelabra stem, which leads me to believe that Mr. Gloomsbury stabbed Sorin with it. You cannot possibly think Master Sorin is the one responsible for the murder. I don't have any conclusive evidence of that at the moment, but I do think he had a motive. This proves that Sorin had a motive to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. Well, the newspaper article... Take that! Even though it was an accident, Mr. Gloomsbury was the man responsible for taking Sorin's sister away. You know, it's kind of strange that the locks are so low quality. Yeah, I see what you mean. I think that might be because they were not really updated from the 3DS version. I mean, it's a smaller screen than a phone typically, and it's lower resolution too. So you wouldn't be able to tell how low quality they are, I guess, on the 3DS. That might be one of the things that they did not update for this HD rendition of the game, I suppose. And I'm willing to bet that it's not going to be updated for the upcoming PS4/Nintendo Switch version that will come out. Probably not. I could see it being the case that they just leave them as is. Let us suppose that Gloomsbury did stab Mr. Sorin with the candelabra. Can you prove that it had anything to do with this case? It's from the first trilogy, isn't it? Probably, yeah. Although the first trilogy, it wouldn't have been a 3D model though. Here it seems to be a 3D object. And in the first trilogy it would have been a 2D sprite instead. Because they were 2D games, essentially, on the Nintendo DS. Or Game Boy Advance, for that matter, because it goes way, way back to the Game Boy Advance in Japan. Can you prove that it had anything to do with this case? He might have been stabbed at some other location for some other reason. Sorry, but I can prove it was related to this case. Oh, really? Only the top is 3D, but the bottom looks 2D? I don't know. It's at such an angle to the camera that it might be 2D after all. Yeah, you could be right. Soren's stabbing and Mr. Gloomsbury's death are definitely connected. Are they now? This is the piece of evidence that ties Soren's injury to Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. What, this?
Take that!
A bloodstain was found on the side of the lift that goes between the hold and the Vista deck. Its blood matches the blood that's on the candelabra. I obtained the results straight from the police, so I can assure you this information is correct. This bloodstain on the lift indicates an important fact. It shows us that Soren was there during the crime. Soren's blood is on the lift, which can only mean one thing. He was there, wasn't he? Soren was at the scene of the crime. That's not it? You are very astute, Mr. Wright. It appears I cannot hide this from you any longer. Very well, I will tell you everything. Okay. Ba-ba-bam! Could you tell me about Soren's injury? Very well. This is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. As you surmised, Master Soren was stabbed by Gloomsbury on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple was in the reception hall when suddenly Gloomsbury appeared. He attacked Miss Ellen and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Gloomsbury. That is when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said. Even though Master Soren was badly injured, he went after Gloomsbury. So Soren really was at the scene of the murder, wasn't he? Yes, that is correct. However, by the time Master Soren arrived at the scene, Gloomsbury had already been murdered. So Pierce is saying that Soren was at the crime scene. But that he didn't have anything to do with the murder itself. Even still, why did you try to keep such an important piece of information from me? I am very sorry. Master Soren's injury and Gloomsbury's murder were not directly related. So I decided not to mention it so as not to unnecessarily complicate the investigation. Yeah. Sounds like there would be a more plausible reason. Now then, I am sorry, but I am afraid I really must go now. Please excuse me. Thank you for your time. Pierce should have just told us everything in the first place and saved us all a lot of time. Yeah, but I guess it isn't that simple for him. He is the family butler after all. He sure didn't make our job any easier, though, did he? But at least we learned something new. Soren was at the scene of the crime. That's true. One step forward is better than none. So what next, Nick? Let's see. The forensics team might be done investigating the reception hall by now. Let's go check it out. Sounds like a plan. The reception hall, they said. Yeah, okay. Oh. There's a maid wiping the windows now. Flying Chapel Reception Hall. It looks like the police are done with their investigation in here. I wonder if it's okay for us to take a look around now. Oh, hi, Mr. Wright. Hi, Emma. Would it be alright if we investigate in this room now? Sure, the police are all done, so go for it. Oh, remember that broken lantern? I restored it to perfection. I have to say, it's some of my best work. Sounds like the repair job was a resounding success. Thanks, Emma. We'll take a good look at it too. Well, I have to be getting back to the station. Try not to mess up the crime scene if you can help it. We'll be careful. I'll be seeing you. Bye, Emma, and thank you. Very well, shall we get started? Bum, 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 bum. Examine. Should I talk to her, maybe? Any ideas? I don't know, I really wonder about that Pierce. Yeah, I know what you mean. He seems to have a lot of power over everybody and everything, doesn't he? Actually, what I was really wondering about is that shoulder mech of his. I mean, it's pretty amazing how many things that tiny little contraption can do. Ooh, what if that mech is actually Pierce's true control center, like his brain? Maya, and what if somewhere in Sprocket Manor he has another shiny golden body? And then, during emergencies, he can switch bodies and become Super Pierce Sneakity. This is what I get for trying to have a serious conversation with a super geek. Hey! Don't make fun of super geeks. She's super cute. I bet all Ellen wants is to start her happy new life with Sarn. Yeah, I bet you're right. But do you think the truth will really set her free? All you can do is do your job to the best of your ability. And if we can bring Ellen joy that way, all the better, right? It's hot in here, jeez. Either way, I think true happiness can only be found in the truth. What are you looking at me like that for? I was just thinking about how wise that sounded. Looks like our little Maya is growing up. Would you knock it off? I'm trying to be serious here. Sorry. Okay, examine the place. Yeah, that's right, keep pouting like that. Hey, there's something here. Shiny! This is where the murder weapon, the Timekeeper, was displayed. I guess it's in police custody now. Huh? What's this? A key. Let's ask the maid about it. Good idea, she might be able to tell us something. Excuse me, could I ask you a question? Oh, of course. What would you like to know? Do you know anything about this key? It's the key that starts up the Timekeeper. Startup key? That's right, oh. The first startup of love ceremony was so beautiful. The bride and groom each had a symbol of their love, and when they put them together, oh, how romantic it was. Key of love, added to the court record. Sounds like, a key to a chastity belt or something. First startup of love ceremony. What exactly did that entail? Oh, it's a ceremony in which the couple activated the Timekeeper together for the first time. I suppose it was kind of like a cake-cutting ceremony. And what are these symbols of their love you mentioned? Well, that's kind of an industry secret, so I can't really say. Have you ever seen Robin Hood Men in Tights by Mel Brooks? Well, that's the image I had in mind right now. About the chastity belt. I'm sorry, I'd better be getting back to my work. Looks like there's an order from above not to talk about it. You know of it, Monica? You see what I mean, right? The key of love. She's like, someone will come with the key to my Heart, she's like, or something like that. I can't remember exactly the line of dialogue, but that was so funny. The key to my heart. Yeah, sure. Sure it is. It's another beautiful day outside, isn't it? Yeah, if only it wasn't the scene of a murder, we could really enjoy it. True. It must be tough for the maids to have to work on a beautiful day like today. It's par for the course for them, I guess. Oh, we don't mind. Wow, I didn't think you could hear me way over here. We don't think of it as simply cleaning. It's more like we're wiping away all of the sadness stuck to this airship. Wow, talk about devoted. Hey, I think that tablecloth is new. They must have changed it since yesterday. Huh, how can you tell? Because the food stains that were there are now gone. I should have known it's because it's food related. I guess we've checked out everything of interest in this area. Okay. Hey, what's this down over there? That wasn't there before, was it? Ah, yeah, they said that the police would try to put it back together to see how it looks like when it's all in one piece. Here's the broken lantern all patched up, and I do mean patched. Emma said this was some of her best work, so I know she put a lot of effort into it. It was pretty smashed up. It must have been a lot of work to piece it back together. Well, she gets an A for effort at any rate. Huh? What is it? Yeah, they put the handle that goes inside on the outside. This wheel handle on the back has some blood on it. But it's not painted bronze like the rest of it, so... that means they got it wrong. This one was supposed to go on the inside. It looks like somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Maybe the blood got there when the killer was putting old Doom and Gloom's body inside. Do you see anything else worth noting? Well, there's another one of these lanterns over there, so it might be a good idea to really compare the two later. The lantern in which the victim's body was found, Emma restored it, but something about it still seems off. Uh-huh. There we go. This is the unbroken Peggable lantern. And this is the one that Emma restored. I wouldn't say they look exactly the same, more that they're made up of the same parts. Wait a minute. What is it, Maya? I think there's something off about this Peggable. Just about everything about it looks off to me. I'm not quite sure what it is, but some detail isn't quite right. Show me the restored lantern again. Hey, I know, it's this, right? What? Where? The thing about the restored lantern that's off is the color of the wheel handle. Look, it's the wheel handle. It's a different color altogether. On the other one, it's the one on the inside that's this color. Yeah, there we go. Emma got the inside and outside wheel handles switched around. Oh, wow, you're right. And there's blood here on this handle, as if somebody gripped it with a bloody hand. Right. Which means that the blood got on the handle from inside the lantern. Broken lantern updated in the court record. Uh-huh. Do you think the blood got there when the killer was putting the body in the lantern? It's really hard to say at this point. Are we done? Or not? This angle I think I've already looked at. Ah, what's that? Excuse me, is the fog machine ready to use now? No, I'm afraid not. We only put dry ice in it when there's an actual reception. I see, that's too bad. She still wants to blast me with a cloud of smoke, doesn't she? But I don't think there's anything else worth noting here. Hey, take a look at that door. I wonder where it goes. It says exit on it. It's an emergency exit door, I guess. Shall we open it up and see? Wait, please don't open that. It's the emergency escape hatch. It leads directly outside. You'll fall to your death. Phew, that was a close one, huh, Maya? I'll say. Well, now we've had a look at everything. Phew. Well, I think we've checked out everything relevant to this case. I wish I could take off this t-shirt, damn it, I'm sweating. I think we've checked out everything relevant to this case. What are you two doing here? Wait, what are you doing here? Soren, shouldn't you be resting in bed? You're injured. How do you know about that? Never mind. My notebook. Have you seen my notebook? I can't find it anywhere. My notebook. I need my notebook. What's the matter with him? My notebook. I have to have... Master Soren. Give it to him. Master Soren, I told you to stay in bed. My notebook. Here you go. Yes, this is it. So Soren gets emotionally unstable without that notebook of his. I'm starting to wonder if really he needs it as a working memory or something. Phew, looks like he's calmed down now. Soren, do you mind if I talk to you for a minute? I cannot allow you to do that. What if his wound were to open up again? He needs to rest. I guess you're right. Now if you'll excuse us. Master Soren, let us retire. Alright. There you go. Pierce is right. I guess he really isn't in any condition to be questioned. Well, let's go back to the agency and sort through what we've learned. Move. Agency. We're back. Anybody here? Oh, hi, boss. Athena, I thought you were with Trucy. I guess you could say that. I'm taking a short break. But enough about me. What about the investigation? Did you find out anything? Well, it turns out that the third person Ellen says she saw at the crime scene might have been Soren Sprocket. What, really? I always thought he seemed suspicious. Thing is, by the time Soren got to the Vista deck, the murder had already occurred, apparently. No way, I don't buy that, not for a second. It's a cover-up, I tell you. That's certainly a possibility. And as a lawyer, it's certainly a possibility I have to pursue, but... But what? It's your job, right? So pursue the heck out of it. Just do it. Yeah, but is that really what's best for Ellen? Soren could be found guilty if the truth comes out tomorrow. But if we don't pursue this possibility, Ellen could be found guilty instead. Oh man, either way, it sure doesn't spell out happily ever after for the two of them. So what are we gonna do, Mr. Wright? I can't let an innocent person get convicted. So I guess all I can really do is pursue the truth. Even if it ends up devastating Ellen? What a tough call to make. Well, I'm making it. You let me worry about that. Still, there's always a chance, right? Maybe something will come up during the trial that will save their marriage. I hope so. I really do. Well, Maya, let's go. Break the news to Ellen, you mean? Yep. Mr. Wright, please take me with you. I bet I could help you counsel Ellen through this piece of bad news. Athena, I appreciate the offer, but don't you have somewhere else to be? Do I? Athena, what are you doing here? I've been looking all over for you. Come on now. Let's get back to practicing. No, wait, my buddy can't take it anymore. Boss, you gotta help me. A lawyer always keeps their promises, Athena. But boss... If you bail on me one more time, Athena, I'm going to use a real blade on you. Eek. Sorry, Athena, but somebody's gotta do it. Better you than me, though. Hang in there, kiddo. Come on, Maya, we'd better get going. Poor Apollo. He's the one who had to bear with that before, but now he's gone. He must be happy. Well, happy. With the amount of clients he has now, I don't know if he's that happy. Come on, Maya, we'd better get going. Oh, I love that music! The key of love. What do you think about this? Looks suspicious, but also not. It could really go either way, I suppose. Well, what if you had to come down on one side or the other? Then I guess I'd have to say it's probably neither. Thanks for the non-answer, Maya. The old song, but with a small twist. With the sound font of this game, anyway. Detention Center, Visitors Room. Hello, Ellen. How did your investigation go, Mr. Wright? Before I answer that, I need to ask you something. Was Soren with you when Mr. Gloomsbury attacked you in the reception hall? I'm sorry I kept it from you. I was afraid that he'd come under suspicion if I told you. So I kept quiet about it. I'm really sorry. I see. I thought it was probably something like that. Listen, Ellen, I'm afraid I had to make a very difficult decision based on what I found out. What kind of decision? This is very hard for me to say, but the mysterious person you saw at the scene of the crime was most likely Soren. What? In other words, in court tomorrow, I'm afraid I'll have to propose the possibility that Soren is the true culprit. No! Soren is innocent, no! But don't you see, if I don't try to pursue that line of thought, you'll be found guilty. No! Please, Ellen, calm down. Wow! Soren just can't be found guilty. I'd much rather I'd be found guilty instead. Ellen, you can't let yourself think like that. But, no! Excuse me. Marriage is for life, right? Do you really think you can run away from the truth and still be truly happy with him? I guess she thinks so. You're not married, so how can you possibly understand? Sometimes you just gotta do whatever it takes to make things work. But, Nick, you talk to her. Hey, don't just dump this all on me. I'm not married either, so how can I know? Mr. Wright, I'm innocent, and Soren is too. So please, prove our innocence in court. Okay, excuse me, there's something I need to check here real quick. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, excuse me. Back to the game. I'll certainly do everything in my power. I just hope she doesn't lose control like this in court tomorrow. To be continued. Okay. On to the trial then. Wah, 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 wah. September 23rd, 8:50 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 3. So the one thing we found out yesterday is that Soren was there at the crime scene. I only hope I can get some testimony from him. That'll get to the heart of the matter. Mr. Wright. Good morning, Ellen. Look, I'm afraid you might not like the result of today's trial. Nevertheless... Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Ellen, please, try and get a hold of yourself. I believe in Soren with all my heart, so how dare you doubt him? Regardless of which one of them is found guilty today, it's going to be devastating for Ellen, isn't it? We'll just have to do everything we can. That's the best we can do, you know. The trial is about to begin, Mr. Wright. Alright, let's go, Maya. Yeah. Day 2, court is now in session. All rise. Court is back in session for the trial of Ellen Wyatt. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. Let's see now, where were we? In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim, namely that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Objection!
Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person, and further investigation has only proven her statement to be true. Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person. Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth? Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will most likely attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. Oh, because you have another explanation? How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Okay. You know, I'm sure the judge has missed having Phoenix and Edgeworth in court. They actually answer him when he asks if they are ready. He said something, well, I don't know, maybe you were not around when he mentioned that earlier. He said that he missed that and that he would like to have a reunion meal or something all together. The judge said that. They'd like to eat all together, to reminisce. And well, Edgeworth is always perfect at court procedures, yeah. Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. But... You're wrong! Probably wasn't. That's so cute, though! You're wrong. Soren didn't do it. He's innocent. Miss Wyatt, please. He's innocent, I tell you. What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. He knew that my client would not let us implicate the husband. Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright? It's just that the defendant does not agree with the strategy suggested by the defense. Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defense is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What? Very well, bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Ow! there's something written on this paper airplane. Let's see. Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation. Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes. It's gonna be tough. Now then, Mr. Sprocket. Please tell that doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. He's not about to do it. Okay. Wah wah wah. Wah 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 wah. Well, Mr. Sprocket, still nothing. Is he perhaps autistic? Now that I think about it, maybe there's a bit of that. But I think that may be something else. Mr. Sprocket. Alright. You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception. When Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Wait just a minute here. You actually think Miss Wyatt killed the victim? That's right, Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable. How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
Objection. The truth can be cruel. Miss Wyatt, you must be very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? She must be heartbroken. I can't believe this, Soren. I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone.
Hold it!
Soren. Ah, I feel bad for her. Damn it, Mr. Edgeworth. I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clearly distraught. Yeah, that's so not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. At court is where we seek the truth, and the truth is unyielding, even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth, I find it distasteful to make a lady cry. Yeah, me too. Et tu, Your Honor. So what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already what? Say it. Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass windows in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. Sounds inconvenient in the way it is designed. Ah, well. By the way, the lift goes, what, through the balloon? How does that work? No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hole than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything. Wait a minute. I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Well, I have the hold entry record, no? Where is it? Which one is it? This one? Ah, yeah. Yeah, he's not in there. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not, in fact, go through there? You want proof? You got it. You can do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold. This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold.
Take that!
As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright, but can you actually prove another route exists? Not yet. Not at this moment. Well, now that I really think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove. But I can't back down now. The trial will be over if I do. There's only one thing I can do at a time like this. Or did he ride in one of the lanterns, maybe? During the different trades? Hold on. Excuse me. I can prove it. Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck. Very well then, Mr. Wright. Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck. He made for the Vista deck through here. Well, there's only one way on the map here. This thing.
Take that!
To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall to the Vista deck. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? With all the wind, though, there was a storm the day before, so, would that have been possible? That would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck. A dangerous one, though. I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death. He may have had a way to prevent that. I don't know. I have to agree, the defense's claim is really stretching it. Yeah, I know it's stretching it, but it's all I have at the moment. I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitely say that he didn't go that way. So that's what you're going with then, I take it. Of course, Your Honor. Love makes people do crazy things. Yeah, true. I agree. This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us of your claim? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing. So I'll just have to wing it somehow. On what do you base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside? My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the danger is based on the power of love. I'll follow your hunch, Monica. This seems to be the best bet. To save the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger. Because of the power of love. Bum, bum, bum. That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle. I think I can relate, thanks to my own long, happy marriage. Wow, he actually seems to be buying it. What do you know, Edgeworth? Have you ever loved someone? I wonder. The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly viable in a court of law. We know that Phoenix has. But Edgeworth, I wonder. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth. You should never underestimate the power of love. You'll understand one day when you get married, which I won't. Exactly what is so wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Way to set him off, Your Honor. That's funny. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime... there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck. Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch... they'd be blown away in an instant. Ah! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright? A huge spinning propeller, you say? Nothing against the power of love. In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible. Where's your faith, Your Honor? I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when lawyers have to force their biggest smiles, right? Right, I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. Channel Mia again, just once. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fearless smile I was looking for. Now give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry, etc., etc., etc. Hold it. Mr. Edgeworth. It's still far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all. I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth. Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the wall in spite of the propeller. What if the thing wasn't rotating at the time? What specifically would have made it possible? This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista deck. Or it wasn't flying? What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers? It's the location of the flying chapel at the time of the crime. The location of the flying chapel? Wasn't it flying high in the sky? No, Your Honor, I'm afraid it wasn't. But it doesn't need the propellers to float in the air, does it? It only needs the air inside the balloon, right? Then where was it? At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground. What? And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. In which case, Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? What's that? Ah, he injured his finger. I don't remember. How? He stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark.
Objection!
Objection! Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. But Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love. Yes, the amazing power of love. Not this again. Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume this so-called power of love exists. Made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. Power of love? Less than the power of friendship, you think? You can prove it, can't you? Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh, wait, didn't somebody see something outside a window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship? Yeah, a pterodactyl. This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. Considering the amount of anime that works on the power of friendship, yes. Yeah, if you base your the results of your study, I guess, on anime logic, then yeah, certainly. That's certainly true.
Take that!
This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the murder. What kind of lousy drawing is that? It's a drawing made by Larry Butts. And what can you prove with that poor attempt at artistry? Larry made this drawing before he switched the lanterns, so it must have been right around when the murder was being committed. Now if I could direct the court's attention here... Okay, it's not up to me to do it. Is that a pterodactyl? Does that mean that the airship actually went back in time to the Cretaceous period?
Objection!
We've already proven that time travel is nothing more than a gimmick, did we not? We did, and I have no intention of bringing up that argument again. But this drawing shows us an important piece of information. It shows us that the airship was actually moored to the ground. And what makes you so sure? That's easy. All you have to do is consider who made this drawing. Actually, why is it again that something about this painting is upside down? Well, there was supposed to be wind outside, I think, and I guess bits of the panel would have been flying around. Although I'm not quite sure how that works, to be honest. That's right, it was Mr. Butts, and we both know what he's like. He must have seen something else and mistaken it for a pterodactyl. I can't argue with you there. I went just one doggone second here. What kind of moron do you guys take me for? The biggest one. I saw it with my own eyes. A pterodactyl flew right by the window, I tell you. I have the sharp eyes of an artist. Don't you believe me? No. Nick! Nope. Some friends you guys are. What about the judge? You believe me, right, Your Honor? Nope. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you need to leave this courtroom. Bailiff, if you would. No, I'm just wondering how it's... What? How it's again, like it's the second time? Ah, you mean, why is it upside down again? Ah, okay. That I don't know. Or wasn't he lying on the ground and he saw it by looking, I don't know, at it while looking up, but with him lying on his back? Maybe that's what happened again? Come on, buddy, let's go. Why doesn't anybody believe me? Well, in this case, it's not the entire picture that's upside down, because the inside of the cabin is the right way. So, it's just what's outside the window that's upside down. Don't take it personally, Larry. I know you're just being, well, you. But then again, his whole mind is upside down, so, you know. It's his brains that are upside down. So you're saying that what Mr. Butts really saw bears some relation to what was outside the airship at the time of the murder? Yes, Your Honor. At least I think it does. What this pterodactyl really is will prove the airship was anchored at the mooring dock. It had better anyway. If it doesn't, my whole argument is a bust. If you're that confident about it, then please go ahead and tell us what it really was. It's just kind of funny that they will have to be like, Larry's picture is correct, we just gotta look at it upside down. Yeah. Again. Yes, Your Honor.
Take that!
That. Please take a good look at this sign. At the sign. It appears to have been broken and then repaired, but what does this sign have to do with the pterodactyl? Please focus on this part of the sign. The part that broke off and got reattached, what about it? Well, how about if we turn it like this? Ooh, that shape. It's the pterodactyl in the drawing. What Mr. Butts actually saw was this chunk as it was being blown through the air by wind. What? I already said it. Hey, is that a jetpack on his back, by the way? The dude, Soren. He has a jetpack. He could have flown around the airship for all we know. On the day of the murder, there were some heavy winds in the area of the mooring dock. But it's hard to imagine that this sign would make it up as high as an airship would fly. That means the flying chapel must have been anchored at the mooring dock that night. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? Or at least it looks like a jetpack anyway. He even has the gauge for the pressure or something on his,
Objection!
on his chest. That's more than enough of this power of love nonsense, you pop culture junkie. Present all the proof you want, but your argument is based on far too much in conjecture. Why don't we return to reality now? What do you mean, too much conjecture? Even if the airship wasn't flying, that alone doesn't prove the witness went along the wall. True, even now it's no more than a possibility. Then how do you propose Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck, Mr. Edgeworth? I noticed something as I went over the evidence. Please take a look at this whole entry record. What about it? I don't see Mr. Sprocket listed on here anywhere. Don't you remember? In yesterday's session we had a very similar kind of argument. Did we? Honestly, Mr. Wright, are you going senile already? We talked about Larry Butts using the defendant's keycard to enter the hold. Oh, we did talk about that, didn't we? In other words, even if a person's name isn't on the entry record. It's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card. Damn it. It's still possible for that person to have entered by using someone else's card? Okay. Arr! Mr. Sprocket, you entered the hold with Mr. Nickety, didn't you? I did. What? Why didn't you tell us that in the first place? Pierce is indispensable. I didn't want to mention him unnecessarily and risk having him wrongly accused. I couldn't do without him. Oh, but you could do without your wife, you jerk. Mr. Sprocket, I ask that you testify in greater detail about your movements that night. Damn the jerk! I'm not so sure he's such a nice person after all. Damn it. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. That's why my name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. By the time we reached the scene, it was all over. Mm-hmm. And that's a short testimony. Well, this doesn't help me one bit. Mr. Sprocket, you've concealed information from us time and time again. Who do you think you are treating this court of law with such irreverence? That being said, I do appreciate the testimony you gave just now. Thanks to you, we now know why your name doesn't appear on the entry record. Now there are no more inconsistencies in the witness's testimony. I'll find one, don't worry. That's Mr. Edgeworth for you. He never leaves a loose end dangling. You okay, Nick? I wouldn't exactly call this situation okay. Somehow I'll have to coax the information we need for an opening out of him. If I even can, that is. Maya, please, stop simping for Edgeworth. The truth. Okay, excuse me. I'll be right back. Just a minute. Everyone is simping for Edgeworth. Well, I'm not okay with that. It's not good for me. Okay, excuse me. There we go. The truth is, I went to the Vista deck with Pierce. Wait a second. Let's go back.
Hold it!
Okay. You didn't mention this because you didn't want You're no exception? Ah, darn it. You didn't mention this because you didn't want Mr. Nickety to fall under suspicion. Is that because he has something to hide? Yeah, just gotta. I mean, it's Edgeworth. That's not a valid explanation, in my opinion. Is that because he has something to hide? I just didn't want the police to take up his time with all their questions, that's all. Yeah, right. Neither the company nor the household would function smoothly without him. I see. Wow, it sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the Sprockets. It's okay, I'm not gonna argue. I admit defeat. Wow, it sounds like Pierce is absolutely indispensable to the Sprockets, okay. Anyway, getting back to your statement. When did you meet up with Mr. Nickety? We met up on my way to the Vista deck. I think Pierce and some of my relatives were on another floor. But Pierce heard the commotion and came running to my aid. You could hear the pandemonium all the way from another floor? Mr. Wright, would you like the current statement added to the witness's testimony? Have it added. Yes, please, Your Honor. Very well. Pierce heard the commotion, and he came running. That's why my name doesn't appear on the hold entry record. I was badly injured from being stabbed, but I was frantic. Badly injured? Speaking of your injury, how are you doing now? The knife wound is deep and continues to throb with pain. Fortunately, my internal organs were spared, but one wrong move would have spelled the end for me there. Okay? Even so, I've seen you up and about all over the place since the incident. I'm only following my doctor's orders to perform some daily light exercises. Mr. Wright, would you like Mr. Sprocket's statement about his condition added to his testimony? Not that it appears especially relevant to me. I don't know, have it added, I guess. Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to have it added to his testimony. Okay, I see, very well. The knife wound is quite deep and continues to throb with pain. It wasn't he hurt with the candelabra, though. That seems inconsistent indeed. Mr. Sprocket, you said your injury is a knife wound, didn't you? But the weapon you were stabbed with was this candelabra. A fact I know you're quite aware of. Very well, this is what I heard directly from Master Soren himself. As you surmised, Master Soren was stabbed by Gloomsbury on the day of the murder. It happened after the first wedding reception. The happy couple was in the reception hall when suddenly Gloomsbury appeared. He attacked Miss Ellen and tried to take her away. Master Soren went to stop him and found himself in a struggle with Gloomsbury. That is when Master Soren was stabbed with the candelabra, he said.
Objection!
It must have been a simple memory slip that made him misspeak. It happens to everyone. Well, if my earlier assumption is true, then yeah, it could have been a memory problem. It has nothing to do with the case. You must be pretty desperate to point out something so minute. I have to agree, Mr. Wright. You hardly need to make such a big deal over such a small mistake. But I contend that it's an important inconsistency. Besides, I couldn't find anything else. This is the only thing I have to go after. And I say it's not important. Now let's not waste any more time on this matter. I agree. Everybody has a little memory lapse every now and then. It's more than a little one, I think, in this case. But, Your Honor, please let me explain. But can you? Can you really explain to this court what makes this slip so important? Yes, I can, Your Honor. After all, it was Soren himself who told Pierce that he had been stabbed by a candelabra. This is more than a simple memory slip. There has to be some kind of reason for it. Well, Mr. Wright, please explain why the witness's slip of the tongue is so important. The point to focus here the point to focus on here is why the witness would mistake the weapon used to stab him. Think carefully, Phoenix. This could very well change the course of the trial. I see. So why did the witness make that mistake? Hello again, Delta. How's it going? I see. So why did the witness make that mistake, Mr. Wright? Okay, Mr. Sprocket identified the wrong weapon used against him because he has no memory of it. That's what sticks the most to my theory. He doesn't remember the incident, let alone the weapon used against him. Not only that, but I believe Mr. Sprocket has some sort of memory disorder. I see, I told you. I knew it. I'm good, thank you. A bit tired, but I'm good, otherwise. Therefore, the defense contends that Mr. Sprockets' testimony thus far is invalid. Just because you can't find a flaw in his testimony, you want to throw it all out? Yay, I was right! Your baseless claim is nothing but pure slander of the witness's character. But Mr. Edgeworth is correct, Mr. Wright. Can you explain your grounds for making this claim? Of course, Your Honor. Think of what Soren has said, how he's behaved. That's where I'll find a clue. His notebook! It's all about the notebook, isn't it? Very well, let's hear your argument then. My grounds for claiming that Mr. Sprocket has a memory disorder is... Well, it's not just the notebook, it's how he felt completely lost without it earlier, more like. But yeah, the notebook. The notebook he always has with him. I saw daily events and information about the people around him recorded in it. Like a diary, perhaps. No, Your Honor, it's much too detailed to be an ordinary diary. It's more on the order of a database, actually. A database, you say? That's right. For some reason, Mr. Sprocket is apparently unable to retain memories. That's why he writes every little detail of his life down in his notebook.
Objection!
How could you possibly know that for sure? He might just be an extremely compulsive person. I thought so to myself at first. To be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. That's also why Ellen being there to help him and tell him where everything is important. Yeah, I kind of feel bad for her though, because, I mean, is that the reason he loves her? I mean, he doesn't love her for her just because she's convenient. That's a bit sad for her if that's the case, from my perspective, but well. To be honest, we accidentally got a stain on that notebook yesterday. You mean you got a stain on it? I do think he loves her. Yeah, maybe, probably even. One thing might not necessarily prevent the other, I suppose. Never mind whose fault it was, just get to the point already. Right, sorry. Mr. Sprocket. Sprocket. Is this the DLC? Yes, it is. It's the last case, I guess. Turnabout of the game. The page Miss Faye got a stain on yesterday, that's the page with the details of your stabbing on it, isn't it? No, I only write in this notebook because I'm very compulsive. Now drop the subject already. Sorry, but I'm not convinced. I noticed an odd fact about your notebook, Mr. Sprocket. Otherwise, why would he go to see her to ask for something instead of a staff? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it's true, I suppose. On the earlier pages, you used to write down invention ideas. But after a certain date, you started writing down a lot more and in much more detail. I believe your memory disorder stems from what happened on that date. Something so monumental it caused the memory disorder, Mr. Wright? You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but I do know what I'm talking about, and this is the proof. This is the thing that caused Mr. Sprocket's memory disorder. Well, the accident. So this.
Take that!
You were involved in this car accident too, weren't you, Mr. Sprocket? And the shock of losing your beloved older sister is what caused you to develop your memory disorder. Is this true, Mr. Sprocket? Well, is it? Excuse me, there's something I need to check here. Yep, I thought so. Alright. There we go. Back to the game. Oops. Like this. Okay. Mr. Sprocket. It's true. That accident did something to my mind. What? Ever since that day, every time I go to sleep, I lose my memories. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. That reminds me of a movie. What's the title of it? It's with what's his name again? That actor. What's the title of that movie again? Where there's this girl who loses her memories every morning or something like that. It's in a film. Damn it. No, that's not this one. 50 First Dates. Yeah, that's the one. It's not a movie I like, but it was a movie that someone I knew used to like a lot. So I had to watch it, sadly. Who's the actor again? Adam Sandler, yeah, that's the one. Why couldn't I remember his name? Yeah, that one. It was average at best, I guess. Sort of romantic, I suppose, but well. Nothing to write home about, in my opinion. And when I wake up, the most recent thing I can remember is the day I lost my sister. It's as if I'm constantly going back in time. What? That's truly tragic. An inconsolable time traveler who goes back in time whenever he goes to sleep. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty boring in my opinion. It's not because it's a romantic movie, it's just, well, most movies with Adam Sandler, I usually don't like them all that much. Besides, time travelers do exist, you know. But you wouldn't understand. So that's what Soren meant. He was talking about himself. The reactions of the people around me each time I awoke made me aware of my condition. That's why I decided to write everything down in my notebook so I could move forward. So the only memories you have since that day are the ones written in that notebook. That's right. And since the page about your stabbing got stained, you couldn't read from it, could you? There's just one more thing I'd like you to clarify for me, Mr. Sprocket. Exactly what are your feelings toward the victim? I wonder if he has to read that whole notebook every day. Maybe, yeah, that might be why he spends so much time reading it, I suppose. Exactly what are your feelings toward the victim? Mr. Sprocket's feelings toward Dumas Gloomsbury? Dumas? That's right, Your Honor. The witness said that every time he wakes up from sleep, his mind goes back to the day his sister died. So I guess, yeah, I guess the... How do you say that in English? Damn it! Now it's me who has trouble remembering. The grudge he's holding against the dude is still as fresh as the first day, I guess, because his mind goes back to the accident every morning. Mr. Sprocket, the grudge is still as painful, right? Your pent-up feelings of anger and resentment toward Mr. Gloomsbury for the accident were renewed each and every time you woke, were they not? Touché. But you couldn't take it anymore, so you turned to murder, isn't that right? What, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that the witness murdered Mr. Gloomsbury for revenge? That's certainly a valid motive, anyway. Well, Mr. Sprocket, Bam, bam, bam. She's not gonna like it. Miss Wyatt, please don't admit to the crime that you did not commit. Your Honor, I did it. I killed Mr. Gloomsbury. Well, I figured. Yeah, well. No! What? Miss Wyatt, what are you trying to do? Don't tell me you're still thinking of going that route. Soren is innocent. He can't be found guilty. Take me instead. Love is a hell of a drug. Yep. What can I say? Ellen, please try and get a hold of yourself. I guess she really meant it. My Soren didn't do anything wrong. I'm the one who should be convicted. Are we to understand that you're confessing your guilt? No. Now wait just a minute here. Ellen, why would you cover for me? After I testified that I thought you must have killed him. I'll admit, I couldn't believe my ears at first, but all I want is for you to be happy. Your happiness is my happiness, Soren. Aww. But without my notebook, I'd even forget those feelings of yours by tomorrow. Knowing that, do you still feel this way? Maybe it can be cured. Maybe love is the cure. You loved me all this time, the same way you did before the accident. Oh, because you already loved her before the accident? That's how I know that you're the same person I've always loved. No disorder can change that. Ellen. Your Honor, there are two things I'd like to correct. Aha! Yeah, now it's starting to really make sense that he really does love her then. Two corrections, what are they? First of all, I want to withdraw one of my statements. That's right, Dumas was killed by Ellen. At least better than the Twilight series. I'm not a huge fan of those, so nope. There is no love lost for me with that series. Without memories to rely on, will love make them overcome it all? Suspense. Dun dun dun. Without memories to rely on, I took the police completely at their word. You can't be serious. So that means Soren never really doubted Ellen in the first place, did he, Nick? Ellen really does love Soren with all her heart. But in order to save her, I'll still have to go after Soren. I hope you can forgive me, Ellen. And what is your other correction, Mr. Sprocket? The truth is, I never felt anger or resentment towards Dumas about my sister. What? Why not? That's because the one who caused the car accident was me. What? At least it's consistent with what Nicody said earlier. Order! Order in the court! Please continue, Mr. Sprocket. I'm the one who killed my sister. To protect my career and my future, my father made Dumas take the blame. In exchange for money and the position of lead servant. What could he possibly have against Ellen in the first place, then? Dumas, I mean. So you see, Dumas must have held a grudge against me, not the other way around. And he must have attacked Ellen to get his revenge on me. Are you sure about all of this, Mr. Sprocket? Very sure. It's all been written down in detail in my notebook. But what if someone, knowing your disorder, falsified the notebook to get you to lose that grudge? What if it was Nicody, or whatever his name is, the butler? Because if the notebook is his memory could be falsified, tampered with. Pierce Nicody, yeah. Pierce. I suspect him of maybe tampering with the notebook. He remembers the day? I guess so, yeah, but he just said something about it all being in the notebook. He must have attacked Ellen to get his revenge on me. Are you sure about all this, Mr. Sprocket? Very sure. It's all written down in detail in my notebook. But what if those details were modified in the notebook? Okay, not about the accident, but about what happened, the murder that we are, that is being judged at the moment, I suppose, I should say. That notebook is important evidence supplying background to this case. I must insist you submit it as evidence. The lawyer said I had turned to murder, but that's just not true. However, it is true that my older sister and Dumas are both dead because of me and my negligence. Dumas taking the blame is in the notebook, not the accident. Yeah, but the accident remembers though. He remembers the day of the accident and how it happened, I guess. I just glanced through Mr. Sprocket's notebook. I wasn't able to read the part about when he was stabbed due to the bloodstain. But what's written here about his sister's car accident is exactly as he stated. Your Honor, as long as it matches what's written in that notebook, can we still take the witness's testimony as valid in spite of his memory disorder? Yes, I believe we can. He remembers the accident, not that Dumas was given the blame? Okay. Yeah, that's a subtle difference that probably makes all the difference. Maybe he never really did take the blame? I don't know. And how would you get that? How would he get that wrong, though? Oh, gosh. It's warm in here. I understand now that the witness's memory is in disarray. But if what Mr. Sprocket himself wrote in this notebook is true, I think I could be wrong. But if we can prove that part of the notebook was tampered with, possibly because of the handwriting, and we have a sample of another handwriting here. Grab Ellen when convenient, then send her off from the Vista deck. If we find this handwriting in the notebook somewhere, then that might be proof enough that someone tampered with it. We'll see if that becomes relevant later or if I'm completely off the mark here. And that means by the time Mr. Sprocket's party reached the scene, the victim had already been killed. Edgeworth's right. I'm still in the same bind as before, but should I really simply accept the contents of the notebook? As a substitute for Soren's memory? Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Will you accept Mr. Sprocket's notebook as an official representation of his memories? I still say it could have been tampered with. Wait a minute, Your Honor. The defense requests a chance to examine the notebook to see if it's trustworthy. Very well, but be quick about it. Thank you, Your Honor. So how should we examine it? Well, we should look at it from all different angles to see if there's anything suspicious. It was in the hands of Pierce at least one moment since we gave it to him. Someone could have definitely tampered with the notebook, but exactly where would they have? Which part is tampered with? Who tampered with it? When? For what reason? There's no point if I don't look at what's inside. I have to open it. With your permission, Soren, here I go. Well, yikes. It's just a page Maya got all stained. But I guess it's not going to be very helpful at this moment. I'll keep going. Ah, see? There's something missing. This is the last page where there's writing. Something about this page doesn't sit right with me. I'd better take a closer look. Huh? The page has been torn out, and it looks like there was something written on it. It looks like a page has been torn out here. Mr. Sprocket, do you know what was written on it? Oh, that. I often tear out a page when I write somebody a note. I probably wrote something down for somebody, tore it out, and gave it to them. Do we have something like that? Yeah, when he makes a paper plane, I guess. Oh yeah, that solves that then. Well, I guess it could have been any paper plane really, so it's probably not all that important.
Objection!
Wait a minute. We can't ignore the possibility that something important was written on that page. But now that the page has been torn out, how can we determine what was written there? Well, do the pencil thing on the next page, I guess. No? To find out what was written in the notebook, we should... we can use fingerprint powder, yeah. Heat it with a lighter. If we use fingerprint powder on the notebook, we might be able to see what was written. Fingerprint powder. How would that help us find out what was written there? Well, if the writing left indentations on the blank page behind it, fingerprint powder could make those small indentations visible to the naked eye. Oh, stop. Fingerprint powder would only sully the notebook further. Mr. Wright, if you use the powder and still don't find anything, then you must accept the notebook as a representation of the witness's memory. Alright, Your Honor, I understand. If I don't find anything, it's all over anyway. Powder, don't fail me now. Ow. I'm not feeling great. I will now use fingerprint powder on the blank page to find out if we can see what was written on the torn out page. Heating it with the lighter only works with invisible ink, which, did you know, can be made with lemon... Yeah, lemon juice! I was about to say it, but I thought of it before I read the end of your sentence. Indeed. That reminds me of, The Name of the Rose. The film. Well, the film based on a book. Where they do that. First, I tap a spot to dust it with fingerprint powder. When I've dusted on enough powder, I tap the blow panel to blow the excess powder away. If something should appear, I should tap Analyze. Point to what came up, then tap Confirm. What? Dumas 2. I actually learned this from an old animated series called Jacob 22. I do not know Jacob 22, I'm afraid. Not familiar with it. Dumas took Ellen to the Vista deck. There. Ah, wait. There's more. I struck... What? I struck and killed Dumas. Can we zoom out? Dumas took Ellen to the Vista deck. This has to do with the case. There might be some other important message here too then. The other one. It says, I struck and killed Dumas. This is huge. They had these short segments in the end that taught you something interesting. Okay. I struck and killed Dumas. What's that? That was written on the torn out page. What? It can't be. Hold it. See, mate, you gotta go. Oh, okay, Delta. Well, have a good one then. Take care. See you next time. There has to be some kind of mistake. Soren would never, could never. Yeah. Soren would never, could never. Oh, she passed out. Miss Wyatt. Bailiff, please get the defendant to the infirmary at once. Apparently, the defendant's got too worked up. She's resting in the infirmary as we speak. Now then, please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor, this notebook is all Mr. Sprocket has to remember things by. With this critical page torn out, not even Mr. Sprocket himself knew the truth of what he'd done. I'm the one who killed Dumas. So it wasn't Ellen? Oh, thank goodness. Mr. Sprocket, does this mean you were at the crime scene during the murder after all? I guess I must have been. Soren's notebook updated in the court record. But Mr. Sprocket, can we really believe what's written in this notebook? Nobody touches this notebook but me. That's not true, someone else did. And when I sleep, it's under lock and key. Oh, that's cute, he said, thank goodness. Yeah, he must really love her then. Despite what I thought initially. I don't remember writing that I killed Dumas, but I guess I must have. But is it your handwriting or not? That should be easy enough, now that we have a confession. I'm afraid I must render my verdict. Of all the... Yes, Your Honor, please give your ruling now while Ellen is asleep. I want the woman I love to be set free as soon as possible. Well, he said it. Soren really does love Ellen after all, doesn't he? Yeah. So this is how it ends, but is that how it really went down? Is there really no way for them both to be happy? I know we should consider anything written in the notebook to be the truth, but still. I myself wrote of the crime in my notebook. No further proof is necessary. Soren himself wrote it in his notebook. Wait a minute. Very well. I will now give my verdict. Ellen is about to be found not guilty and Soren will be convicted for the crime instead. And yet, am I really ready for the judge to give his ruling? No. I don't think so. It would be too sad if it ended like that. Those two lovebirds belong together. No, not when there's still one more avenue left to explore. This court finds the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Hold it! Your Honor, there's still something that bothers me about that notebook. Oh, is there? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? All you have to do is keep quiet and your client's a free woman. Yeah, but I don't want an innocent guy going to prison. I know, but I think there might be more to this case than meets the eye. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think there still might be a way. A way for Ellen and Soren to be happy. Ha! Actually, a lot of people with memory loss ends up falling for their partner again. There is a reason they fell in love once, after all. Assuming the person didn't change in the interval, I guess. That both of them haven't changed, I guess. I believe the question here, Your Honor, should be, why was the incriminating page torn out in the first place? Why? To destroy the evidence, I would imagine. But removing it from the notebook is the same as removing it from Mr. Sprocket's memory. Which means he wouldn't have been able to trick the police if he came under suspicion. No, if he wanted to cover up his crime, he would have to remember that he had done it. Just what are you getting at with this line of inquiry, Mr. Wright? Yes, please explain it so that we can all understand. Yes, Your Honor. The page was torn out of the notebook because... no, what have I done? Ah, I picked the wrong thing. Are you claiming that Mr. Sprocket tore out the page himself? No. That's right, Your Honor. But you just said a moment ago that Mr. Sprocket wouldn't do that. To your inconsistent claims, I say objection. Okay, yeah. Somebody else did it, but I pressed the button on the controller and the controller does not let me pick the answer. Somebody else tore it out. That's it. That's the one. The incriminating page was torn out by somebody else. What? Order! Order! Are you claiming a third person interfered with the notebook? It's not all that surprising if you consider what's happened up until now. After both the car accident and the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury, there was always a cover-up not far behind. But I had my notebook with me at all times. Did you? Because I remember you were in a panic yesterday because you couldn't find it. That's true. Does he remember losing it? He says that's true. Or is that something that he wrote in his notebook as well? So who orchestrated this particular cover-up, Mr. Wright? If we think back over the course of the trial, it's pretty easy to guess. The one who may have tried to tamper with Soren's memories is... Told ya.
Take that!
The one who tampered with the notebook in order to manipulate Mr. Sprocket's memory. Ba-ba! Pierce Nickety. Pierce? Pierce tried to tamper with my memories? Pierce was manipulating me? Case in point, the 2 receptions that were held to cover up the murder. It was Mr. Nickety who directed the guests and orchestrated the entire scheme. No, it can't be. Which of my memories are mine and which have been rewritten? When did he start rewriting my memories? Who wrote this? And this? And this? And this? And this? And this? And this? It would have been better if he said, was I, and then looked through his notebook and then said it's true. Okay. He literally took off. Ah! What? Okay. That's new. Look, Nikki's coming back down. My memories, Alan. Bomb. Mr. Sprocket. Bailiff, please get Mr. Sprocket to the infirmary on the double. Damn, that's actually sad the way he was looking through his notebook. Yeah. Totally. Mr. Sprocket has been taken to the infirmary. We don't have to worry about him running away, so let us resume where we left off. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Pierce Nickety to the stand.
Objection!
Objection!
We already know he carried out the cover-up to protect the company and Mr. Sprocket. What more do you want from him? This time it's different. The notebook, or rather Mr. Sprocket's memories, have been tampered with. That means the only person who knows the whole truth is now Mr. Nickety. Don't tell me, are you actually trying to drum up a third suspect in order to exonerate the defendant and her groom? I'm not drumming up anything, nor do I have grounds to accuse him of anything yet. All I know is that Mr. Nickety is the only one who knows the truth. And I think he's still hiding something. Something we don't know about yet. No grounds yet, is it? Well, Mr. Edgeworth, does the prosecution consent to calling the witness to the stand? It does, Your Honor. However, I would like a little time to talk with the witness before we do. Very well. We will break for a 20-minute recess. Ah, this is it. The end of the chapter. One more to go. Save game. Whoop. Defendant lobby number 3. Now we'll have to face Pierce on the stand. I'm not sure if I should be surprised or not. One thing's for sure, he won't be an easy adversary. Yeah, he's a bit too intelligent for his own good. Well, for my own good. So, do you think Pierce did it? It's too early to say anything at this point. I'll get some more coffee, if you'll excuse me just a minute. Okay. Damn. Yeah. I pulled on the wire of my headset. That won't happen anymore once I have a wireless one. Okay. Actually, I was gonna ask, yeah, do we know what the pun is for his name? I think I have it. Isn't it like the English word like persnickety or however you pronounce that? But I'm not sure. Wireless is nice, yeah. I won't have a choice though at that time, but it will also be more convenient. Persnickety or something like that. Is that the pun on his name? I'm not sure if it is. Persnickety? What does that mean even in English? Placing too much emphasis on trivial or minor details. Fussy. She's very persnickety about her food. Okay. Well, that's what I had in mind, but I just wanted to confirm. Okay. Yeah, well. I'm satisfied with that explanation. It's too early to say anything at this point. So says the guy, the Felix. But I do think he's still hiding something. Nick! Why didn't you pin everything on Soren Loser back there? Looks like Larry still hasn't given up on Ellen. He would just take anyone, I think. I do have something else to add to his name, but it will wait for now. Ah, okay. Don't hesitate, though. I'm curious. I want your insight, if you would be so kind. Thank you. If this Pierce guy is the real bad guy, then Soren and my Ellie will live happily ever after together. Is that a bad thing? Larry, that's not the kind of thing a decent human being says. Shame on you, Larry. Oh, boo-hoo. You think I don't know? I know I have to give up on my Ellie. But Nick, promise you'll make her happy. She deserves a happily ever after. I'm sure Soren will make her happy once all of this is said and done. The trial is about to resume, Mr. Wright. Alright, you ready, Maya? It will wait till we know a certain thing. Okay. Let's avoid any potential spoiler. Thank you. Alright, you ready, Maya? Yup, let's go. I'll be rooting for you, Nick. September 23rd. Come on, Rudy, this is the last stretch. This court is now back in session. Witness, please take the stand. Please state your name and occupation. My name is Pierce Nickety. I am the Sprocket family butler. Let's get straight to the point, Mr. Nickety. Someone tore out a page from Mr. Sprocket's notebook to manipulate his memories. And that person was you, wasn't it? That is correct. What about it? Well, that was easy. So why did you do it? Why did you tamper with Mr. Sprocket's notebook? Please allow me to explain. It pains me to do this, but I will tell you the truth. It pains you. That is correct. For my testimony will go against Master Soren's wishes. Soren's wishes? What is he talking about? Why I tore out the page. I rushed the Vista deck, but the crime had already been committed. I saw Miss Ellen and Gloomsbury collapsed and Master Soren writing in his notebook. Master Soren said to me, I'll take the blame for the murder, so please take care of Ellen. But I went against his order. I tore the page out of his notebook and hid the body. Wait a second. What Mr. Sprocket was writing in his notebook at the time? Could it be... It was meant to be a confession, an admission he'd killed Gloomsbury himself. He wrote that message to take the blame for Miss Wyatt. That is correct. Master Sorin did hit Gloomsbury with the timekeeper to save Miss Ellen. Then Mr. Sprocket was the culprit after all. However, that blow did not kill Gloomsbury. That makes sense. Mr. Sprocket's injury wouldn't allow him to put much force into it. Enraged, Gloomsbury tried to attack Master Sorin, who was already seriously wounded, but just in the nick of time, Miss Ellen hit Gloomsbury from behind. And finished him off, it would seem. So the one who inflicted the fatal blow was the defendant. Yes, that is correct. But Master Sorin tried to take all of the blame onto himself. No way! This is pretty bad, Nick. No kidding. Pretty bad is an understatement. Well, well, Mr. Wright, it seems your decision to call for Mr. Nickety has backfired. For the true culprit behind this case remains the defendant, Ellen Wyatt. Could this get any worse? But Pierce was involved in the cover-up plot. And I bet he still has something to hide. Well, cross-examine then. He says he hit the body.
Hold it!
You tore the page and hit the body. Mr. Nickety, could you please tell this court about that in more detail? That, you say? Which part do you mean, Mr. Wright? Could you be more specific? Oh, alright. What part do you want to know more about? Well, about the hiding the body. Please tell me more about the hiding of the body. Very well. After saying you would take the blame, Master Sorin passed out. That's when I hit the body. I quickly took the lift down to the hold, where I hit Gloomsbury's still warm body in the spare Peekaboo lantern. So it was you who hit the body, not the defendant. To think Mr. Buds would move the lantern containing the body to the reception hall. Well, I did not see that coming. I don't blame you. Not even Larry can predict what Larry will do next. Maybe I should take another look at the lantern in evidence. Okay. Yes, add it to the testimony. Damn it. Yes, please. Very well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Nickety. In the hold, I hit the still warm body of spare Peekaboo lantern. Okay. Wait. Where is it? This one? Yeah, it's this one.
Objection!
Okay. Could it be? Is that what happened? If what I'm thinking is true, then maybe I can prove neither Ellen nor Sorin did the deed. Mr. Nickety, you said the body was still warm when you hit it, correct? So then what if Mr. Gloomsbury was still alive when you went to put his body inside the lantern? What? What? That's preposterous. Actually, this shows that the victim might have still been alive while inside the lantern. The fact that there was blood on the handle. In the reconstructed version, the handle is on the outside, but it's the one that goes on the inside, this one, the one with the blood on it. Alright.
Take that!
Like this. As you can see, the back end of the lantern is a door, and there's blood here on the wheel handle, but it's on the outside. The bloodstain must have gotten there when the witness put the body inside the lantern. It in no way shows that the victim drew his last breath while he was within the lantern. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth, for you see, in putting this lantern back together, the police inadvertently placed the inside handle on the outside and vice versa. In other words, the wheel handles got swapped. Oh my, so they got swapped? Yes, they got swapped. What? But that's ridiculous. Not at all if you compare the other male peggable lantern in the reception hall. The one that is intact. It's quite obvious the wheel handles were attached backwards. The detective in charge of the restoration will see me in my office later. Sorry, Emma, and good luck. In that case, what does the bloodstain on the wheel handle mean? The bloodstain didn't get there by chance. When the victim was put inside the lantern, he was only unconscious, not dead. When he regained consciousness, he probably tried to get out of the lantern. So he grasped the inner wheel handle, and that's when the blood got on it. This proves that the victim was still alive when he was inside the lantern. Pay cuts are coming for Emma. Like they did for Gumshoe. I wonder if he had any salary left in the end with all the pay cuts he got. At the time, I was completely convinced Gloomsbury was dead. Yeah, I think they constantly joked about him eating noodles and nothing else, I think, in the end. Because he couldn't afford any better. Had I checked more carefully, he might have survived. Unfortunate to be sure, but not significant enough to change the trial's outcome. Again, I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. It actually has a very significant impact on this case. The victim was struck by the defendant, then died from his injuries sometime later. There's nothing more to it. That's where you're wrong. Let's take another look at Mr. Gloomsbury's autopsy report, shall we? Please focus on the description of his injuries. Cerebral hemorrhage from a strong blow to the head. One contusion was found on the back of the head and one on the side. The blows were caused by the same weapon. Yes, the one Mr. Sprocket gave him and the one Miss Wyatt delivered to finish him off. No, the defense would like to submit a different interpretation. A different interpretation? The victim was knocked unconscious by the first blow and was then put into the lantern. Then what about the lethal blow by the defendant that the witness talked about? He lied. Yes, well, that didn't happen. After some time, when the victim regained consciousness and tried to get out of the lantern, that's when he received the second blow that finished him off. Taking into account the fact that the victim was alive for a period after the first hit, and that he did receive a second blow to the head, it does seem entirely possible. Yes, as long as the first blow didn't kill the victim instantly. Then there is a possibility that someone other than Mr. Sprocket or Miss Wyatt delivered the fatal blow. That's all you've got? Even if there was a time lag between the two blows, the prosecution's position doesn't change. What? What do you mean? It's elementary, Mr. Wright. After the reception, when the defendant was cleaning up the reception hall, the victim, who was supposed to be dead, suddenly came out of the lantern. The defendant grabbed the murder weapon, which was right there, and finished him off. That theory sounds awfully familiar. Of course it does, Your Honor, because it's exactly what I proposed at the very start. The second blow was inflicted by the defendant after all. I see. It seems the tangle of mysteries has unraveled into a single thread.
Objection!
But as long as there's a possibility that a fatal blow was delivered by a third person, then we must continue the deliberations. Give it up, Mr. Wright. It started raining so hard that I could hear it through my headphones. It rained in the morning. Actually, I went out shopping for food, and it started raining just as I was getting back home. Actually, but otherwise, it's been pretty dry here. I just hope I get sunshine on Monday to get to work. That's all I'm hoping for at the moment. But I don't know what the forecast is. On Monday, cloudy. Well, that's what they say. Well, let's hope it stays that way. No rain. I'll take cloudy. Give it up, Mr. Wright, unless you have something to prove the presence of your precious third person. Okay, Nick, just relax. You can do this. Come on now. Take some deep breath. Good idea. Deep breath. Deep breath. There, don't you feel better already? Maya's right, I should calm down, get my focus back, and go over everything again. And then hopefully I'll be able to find something to prove there was a third person. Let's see. First, why did Gloomsbury attack Ellen? Because he was tired of taking the blame for the accident? But something about that line of reasoning just doesn't feel quite right to me. No? How come? Well, if it's just a personal vendetta, he had already stabbed Soren. So why then was he so determined to go after Ellen? You're right, this whole thing feels too premeditated for a crime of passion. But Gloomsbury didn't seem to have a personal grudge against Ellen. If Gloomsbury didn't have a personal reason to attack Ellen, then... You've taken long enough, Mr. Wright. It's time for some action. What proof do you have that the third person was involved? Alright, I'll show you. I'm not completely sure of what I'm doing yet, but it looks like I'm out of time. Well, you just looked at it.
Take that!
Okay. I get it now. Now I see why this note bothered me so much when I first saw it. It looks like a note outlining the murder plot. That note was apparently written by the victim, but why would he feel the need to write instructions to himself like this? Your Honor, please take a look at this note. This is the victim's murder plan, right? It's definitely a murder plan, but what if Mr. Gloomsbury didn't write this note to himself? Himself? What? This is how you intend to conjure up your mysterious third party, Mr. Wright? Can you even prove that that note wasn't written by the victim? Yes, I can. Very well then, please present your evidence, Mr. Wright. This evidence proves the victim didn't write the note. Okay.
Take that!
This is the weapon Mr. Gloomsbury used to stab Mr. Sprocket. I was wondering what you'd pull out this time. Dare I ask what that could possibly have to do with the note? Mr. Gloomsbury's prints were found on this candelabra, and the prints were from his left hand. So that makes the victim left-handed, correct? Exactly, Your Honor. The police looked into it too and confirmed as much. Now, take a look at the smudged writing in this note. Notice how the smudging only starts from the middle of each preceding line. At this bit written by a lefty, the writing would be smudged from the far left end. True. Actually, I didn't think about it in these terms, but yeah, that's true. So it was written by someone who was right-handed. In other words, somebody other than the victim wrote this note. What? But if someone other than Mr. Gloomsbury wrote it, then what does this note mean? Mr. Gloomsbury followed this note to the letter when he attacked Miss Wyatt. So clearly this note isn't a murder plan written by Mr. Gloomsbury, but rather... these are instructions to kill Miss Wyatt issued by somebody else. Oh, it's sneakery, probably. If it wasn't the victim who wrote these so-called instructions, then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed. Then who wrote it? Most of the people involved are right-handed, you know. He is correct. The majority of the family and their employees who were on the airship are indeed right-handed. I must say, that is a very rough and slipshod conjecture you've proposed. I admit I haven't figured out who wrote it just yet. Leave it to Mr. Edgeworth to go for the jugular. This culprit who ordered Gloomsbury to attack Ellen. What could their motive have been? It doesn't seem very likely Ellen did anything to incur anybody's wrath, right? Right, not too likely anyway. In that case, it has to be about Soren. If somebody were to hold a grudge against Soren, what would it be about? That accident, I guess. I could understand if Bloomsbury felt resentful about having to take the blame. But the one who lost the most in that accident was Soren's sister. She lost her life after all. Soren suffered too, of course. He was crushed by losing somebody so precious to him. Somebody precious, huh? Soren's sister. Wait, there is one more person. There's someone else who must hold a grudge against Soren. Did you figure something out? I think so. I think this somebody else used Bloomsbury to try and get revenge against Soren. Did you say somebody tried to get revenge against Mr. Sprocket, Mr. Wright? Ah, we're getting to it. I think this is it. The person who used Mr. Bloomsbury to try and get revenge on Mr. Sprocket and then finished Mr. Bloomsbury off to silence him was a man dear to Mr. Sprocket's older sister, Selena Sprocket's fiancé. And because he has the pocket watch, I think it's him, it's Pierce. Not that I'm not positive, but it's certainly possible. This fiancé could have made Bloomsbury attack Ellen to get his revenge on Soren. What? Her fiancé? He would rob Soren of his fiancée because Soren robbed him of his, I suppose. If indeed it was Soren's fault. Even though Bloomsbury took the blame, it was ultimately Soren's fault according to Soren anyway. Order in the court. Order, I say. Yet it does seem quite believable that Miss Selena Sprocket's fiancé would bear a grudge against Mr. Sprocket for his role in the accident. Exactly, Your Honor. Maybe your fiancé was trying to murder Miss Wyatt in order to make Mr. Sprocket experience the same pain it felt.
Objection!
That's what I just said, yeah. Miss Sprocket's fiancé was a surgeon, if memory serves. But the only people who attended the reception were family and staff members. Yeah, but we know that he is no surgeon anymore. That may be, but then that just means that Miss Sprocket's fiancé must have been among those who attended. What? Really? Of course, otherwise, how could he have killed Bloomsbury? Oh, I see what you're doing. This is just another giant bluff, isn't it? Alright, I'll bite. Who exactly do you claim this fiancé to be? Yes, I would like to know as well. Are you sure you're gonna be okay, Nick? Maybe. When it comes to suspicious people, there's only one person on my list. I need to find something that connects him to Selena. The photo?
Take that!
I did say earlier this was gonna get relevant at some point. Please take a look at this photo, Your Honor. That photo. Notice Miss Sprocket's pocket watch. Haven't we seen it somewhere before? Yes, now that you mention it, I do feel as if I've seen it somewhere before. Ha! Cornered. I believe we've all seen it. Right here in this very courtroom. Impossible. That's right, the pocket watch in this photo. It's the same pocket watch Mr. Nickety has on him right now. What? This is clear proof of a strong connection between Pierce Nickety and Selena Sprocket. No. Well, Mr. Nickety, is this true? Mr. Nickety, you were once engaged to Selena Sprocket. That pocket watch, you keep it as a memento of her, don't you? Mr. Nickety, you planned to rob Mr. Sprocket of his loved one. To make him feel the same pain as you, isn't that right? But Mr. Sprocket managed to fight back and knocked Mr. Bloomsbury unconscious. You thought Mr. Bloomsbury was dead and hid his body in the lantern. But then you noticed Mr. Bloomsbury regained consciousness. And so you finished him off to prevent your plan from being exposed. This is the defense's take on what really happened in this murder case. Mr. Wright, does this mean You wish to officially accuse this witness of the murder of Dumas Gloomsbury? Yeah. J'accuse. The defense indicts Pierce Nickety on the charge of murdering Dumas Gloomsbury. Okay. Oh my! Mr. Nickety, would you care to respond? Willie? Okay, excuse me. Man, this lawyer just yaps on and on and on. As you guessed, this watch is a memento of Selena. It stopped working at the time of the accident, though. Then you really are... Yeah, you were just pretending to read the time on it, then? You were checking in all the time until now. Then you really are... Her fiancé? Yes, I was Selena's fiancé. And not just her fiancé, but the surgeon beside her deathbed.
Objection!
Mr. Nickety, why didn't you tell me any of this before? Shut it, you useless prosecutor. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. His full English name may be a reference to the word persnickety, which can mean a fussy or precise person, referencing to his former occupation as a surgeon. Pierce may also reference his job as a surgeon. Yeah, true. I didn't think of it in these terms until now, even though I already suspected what he was. But it makes more sense now then, indeed. I thought you could be of use, but apparently this case was too much for you. What did you say? If your office hadn't stuck its nose all up in this, I could have swept it under the rug. Not only did you interfere with the case, but you even let me fall under suspicion. That's because you kept trying to cover things up on the sly. But covering things up wasn't your only involvement. The only person who had a motive to use the victim to try and kill Miss Wyatt was you! Oh? He's a surgeon now. Edgeworth is all about finding the truth. Well, that makes him better than the other prosecutors at any rate. Malign tumors. There are malign tumors in this courtroom. Lesions oozing with false charges. The tumors are one idiotic lawyer and one useless prosecutor. After the truth is revealed, I'll have the both of you incised from the legal world. Damn, impressive. I'd like to see you try. With the power of the Sprocket family, it would be a cinch. I will now begin the operation. What in the world happened to Mr. Nickety? Looks like he's finally showing his true colors. Nick, look what he did to that shoulder mech. Quit your yapping before I suture your chatty lips shut. It's like he's a completely different person. I told you he was too good looking, and he had the face of someone who could turn into a villain. Usually you can tell. You can tell which ones they are. Sure, it looks like it, huh? We can't let our guards down now. Mr. Nickety, it's finally time for you to testify. To the truth. It seems we're entering the final act at last. Witness, your testimony, please. Okay. Interesting testimony. Malignant? Is that how you say it? Malignant? Okay. Thanks for the Ah, the heads up, Monica. Thank you. Mr. Nickety, why didn't you say anything? Uh-oh. Ah, malignant. Okay. Understood. He just took a picture of me or something. You want me to voluntarily testify, hoping I will make a slip of the tongue? Not a very impressive plan, or brain, I might add. The X-ray has his spiky hair on the back. Oh, that was uncalled for. If you want to know something, you ask the question. I will answer, but I have no intention of making any voluntary statements of my own. What's he trying to do, Nick? He's using the silent treatment as a strategy to avoid getting tripped up. Clever guy. No more lies, Mr. Nickety. You will tell us nothing but the truth from now on. Okay, what's the X-ray for him gonna look like? What do you think you're doing? He's got the cravat on the X-ray. No one asked you to speak. Just keep quiet over there and play with your frills. How dare you? This is a rather unconventional situation, but please proceed, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Right to remain silent. Your frills, yeah. Okay, well, I guess I have to press. If he won't speak voluntarily, then I guess I'll have to ask him something. What question should I ask? Reason for killing Bloomsbury, I guess. Is it true that when Mr. Bloomsbury regained consciousness inside the lantern, you murdered him in order to silence him? He was an excellent employee and very loyal to me. Bloomsbury was my right-hand man. I'd suffer the most from losing him. You really think I'd kill a guy like that? That would make sense only if you were innocent, but since your goal was revenge, you don't really have to care about something like that. But I am innocent, I tell you. Don't try to force your conjectures onto me. I guess without decisive evidence, I can't pursue this line of questioning any further. Mr. Wright, would you like that statement added to the witness's testimony? Well, I guess I can have them all added. It doesn't matter.
Hold it!
Okay. You've been nursing a grudge against Mr. Sprocket over the loss of your fiancée, isn't that right? I'd be lying if I said I felt no resentment whatsoever, but Master Soren didn't cause that accident on purpose. Master Soren himself has suffered greatly. But you quit being a surgeon and found a way to get even closer to Mr. Sprocket. Wasn't that so you could carry out your revenge on him? Don't insult me. Supporting Master Soren and Sprocket Aviation was with my life's work. Is my penance for not being able to save Selina. This is how I honor her. I feel your devotion as both a fiancé and a surgeon. It's also quite tragic. Even if he is the culprit, what happened to him and Selina is quite tragic as well. I never thought of exacting revenge on Master Soren. Yes, please. I have to find an opening somehow. Well, on the third one, try to add the other statement. No, go back. This isn't going to be easy, is it? You can say that again. All I can do is just try to draw as much information as I can out of him and look for any inconsistencies. This is a moment of truth, huh, Nick? Good luck. Well, yeah, hahaha. Oops. Thanks. Okay.
Hold it!
That's what I wanted to do. Actions on the day of the crime. Okay, on the day of the incident, you were constantly surrounded by your subordinates. Is that right? Absolutely. I was in someone's line of sight at all times. After all, I was busy taking care of every detail of the event. Mr. Edgeworth, I believe your investigation backs up my claim. I got statements that said groups of his subordinates worked with him in rotation. So he was always with someone. As the prosecutor just said, I couldn't even get close to the lantern containing Gloomsbury by myself, let alone kill him. Yes, I would like that added to the testimony, please. I'd like to have that statement added to his testimony. Well, I have a piece of evidence that proves that wrong, don't I? Not this picture. Yeah, it's this one. And he is standing right next to one of these things, so...
Objection!
Mr. Nickety testifies that he was always with someone at the time of the incident, and never had a moment alone to commit the crime. By the way, it's been a while since I saved the game, so I probably should. Let's see. Okay. And the police investigation backs that statement up, doesn't it? But there was an opportunity, in fact one and only one. A moment when Mr. Nickety could have killed Mr. Gloomsbury without anyone noticing. What? And the one thing that made that moment possible. I had a fog machine. With all those people watching, I couldn't have possibly committed murder. Do not believe him, Your Honor. This lawyer is a malignant tumor. I got it now. Thanks. Mr. Nickety, I would ask that you keep quiet this time. We need to evaluate the defense's claim, and your yammering only serves to throw further suspicion your way. Mr. Wright, let's see this one thing you mentioned. But be warned, this had better not be one of your offhanded claims. What do you think who do you think you're talking to, Mr. Edgeworth? Please point out for us the one thing that made the moment of the murder possible. Is that it? Because I had the piece of evidence in my inventory, don't I?
Take that!
The one thing that made the moment of the murder possible is this thick mood fog that engulfed the entire reception hall. It is under the cover of this fog that Mr. Nickety murdered the victim. What? Mr. Nickety was standing right next to the lantern that Mr. Gloomsbury was in. This was the only moment the murder could have been committed without being seen. I can accept that there was a moment when the witness was obscured from others by fog. But that doesn't prove Mr. Nickety killed the victim at that very moment. If you can't prove the crime was committed during the reception, the trial ends here. I was so caught up in finding a foothold that I forgot to think that far ahead. Well done, Mr. Edgeworth. It's time to call this trial's time of death. Well, Mr. Wright, can you prove the murder happened during the reception? Don't even bother, his claim is dead on arrival. I just noticed Edgeworth has some small lines by his eyes. He's getting older. The jury is within your grasp, prosecutor. Quiet witness. From this angle, it may be a bit hard to see. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. Edgeworth. Enough of this, Your Honor. This trial is over. No, Mr. Nickety, this is for me to decide. Mr. Wright, can you prove it? Can you prove that the murder was committed during the wedding reception? It was easiest to see when his eyes were closed. Ah, okay. Why is there no verdict yet? The lawyer is obviously out of answers. The prosecutor, the judge, they're all infected. Their malignant stupidity is so advanced, not even the best surgeons can save them. It's a good thing you told me how to say that word, because it's coming again and again. Likely even easier on front-facing? Yeah. Well, he tends to wear glasses the rest of the time, I think, when he is seen from the front. In fact, not even a brain transplant could cure them. This court is infected with idiocy. It's a pandemic.
Objection!
Pandemic. Mr. Nickety, that's enough already. Finally ready to give up, are you? I think so, anyway. When you see him outside the courtroom, I think he has glasses on, right? Not just the opposite, actually. Actually, I think you may see it in the portraits. Wait. Yes, no, maybe? Yeah. But he has glasses there. Come on. I'd prove the murder was committed during the reception by you. Arrgh. You'll prove it? Can you really, Mr. Wright? Yes, I can, Your Honor. To be honest, I don't know exactly how I'll do it just yet, but if I want to get to the truth Edgeworth was talking about, I'll just have to find that way. Very well, Mr. Wright, let's have your proof. Enough of this foolishness, it's just bluffing. Stop him from speaking, Your Honor. I will do nothing of the sort. You are just a district court judge with the power of the Sprocket family. Enough of your foolishness, Mr. Nickety. This judicial body will not succumb to the influence of money or power. Incorruptible judge. Now then, let's hear it, Mr. Wright. Let's hear your truth. Think, Phoenix. Remember everything you've learned so far. You can do this. You can find the definitive evidence that will lead us to the truth. Kind of feels strange. There are 24 in the first game, and now there are 35. 11 years have passed for them. Yeah, it goes by in the blink of an eye, even in real life. Think, Phoenix, how can I prove the murder took place during the wedding reception? If Pierce committed the murder during the reception, then he had to have used... the murder weapon. He used the murder weapon. The weapon that was used to strike the victim twice. According to the autopsy report, the victim was hit by the same object both times. So without a doubt, Pierce used it to commit the murder. It would have been right next to him too, the timekeeper, where he was standing. If Pierce struck the victim during that one single moment, then he must have used the timekeeper. Come to think of it, wasn't it also used for something else during the reception? During the reception, the timekeeper was also used for the first startup of love, yeah. To remove the chastity belt. That's right, the timekeeper had been activated during the reception. If we activate the timekeeper again now and find any trace evidence of the murder, that would be conclusive proof that Gloomsbury was killed during the reception. A special ceremony took place during the reception in question. What kind of a special ceremony? It was called the first startup of love. Apparently, the couple activated the timekeeper for the first time during it. Does that mean the timekeeper here is in evidence isn't activated at the moment? And what would happen if we were to activate it? Why don't we see for ourselves? It would give us a chance to examine it. And while we're at it, we just might find some conclusive evidence. What? No, you can't activate it. Mr. Nickety, keep quiet or I'll have you thrown out of court. Ah, yes, the murder weapon. The murder weapon used to kill the victim. The weapon which murdered that specific victim. That murder weapon? We aren't going to travel back in time to the Stone Age or anything, are we? I don't think we have to worry too much about that, Your Honor. I'm still a little nervous nonetheless, but the truth must be known. Very well, go ahead and start up the timekeeper. Do you know how, Nick? I think so, maybe. Well, we have the key, don't we? The bride and groom each had a symbol of their love, and when they put them together... Oh, how romantic it was. Let's see, I think the symbol of the groom's love must be the timekeeper itself. What symbol of the bride's love would fit together with the timekeeper? Oh, I know, that has to be it. Mr. Wright, are you ready to activate the time machine now? Yes, Your Honor. The symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the timekeeper is... this?
Take that!
If it's hers, Miss Wyatt's pendant, is the symbol of the bride's love that's necessary for activating the timekeeper. Well, I guess on his side he needs the key too. What? Then does that mean you can start it up with Miss Wyatt's pendant? I believe so, Your Honor. Very well. Please try it now, Mr. Wright. Okay, here I go. But first I have to figure out where the pendant goes. Well, down there, right? No? Ah, here. I see it. This hole looks like a good spot. I'll try setting the pendant in here. It fits. This must be the right spot. Now I have to find the place to insert the key. This is proving more difficult. What's here? No. What does it look like, the key? The same spot, you think? Ah, well, yeah, it's a triangle, indeed. And there's a triangular hole. Well, it's kind of hard to see here because I can't zoom, but... this hole in the middle of the pendant, yeah, could this be it? Yeah, that was kind of tiny. But yeah. Oh, so cute. Ah, there's blood. It worked. The timekeeper. It's been activated. Okay. Now all I have to do is find proof that the crime was committed during the reception. You have a clock inside and it stopped, so I think I found it. Conclusive evidence that the murder was committed during the wedding reception. So cute! Wait. Just as I suspected, there's evidence of the murder inside the timekeeper, Mr. Nickety. The timekeeper was only activated and opened during the wedding reception, right? No! Stop! So that means this is conclusive proof that the crime was committed during the reception. After you killed the victim under the cover of fog, you closed the timekeeper to hide the bloodstain, didn't you? No, you're wrong. Ellen killed Bloomsbury. It wasn't me, I tell you. Give it up, Mr. Nickety. how could the defendant, who was in the middle of pledging her love, have possibly committed the murder with everyone watching her? It was the family. Yes, all the family members conspired together to kill him.
Objection!
There's no way you can talk your way out of this, Mr. Nickety. During the reception, during that one dreamlike moment, only one person could have used the timekeeper to beat the victim to death. Kind of feel bad for the dude, actually. And that one person was you, Pierce Nickety. He's losing it. That's it. Extreme freak out. No, this isn't over yet. I won't give up. Oh no! I cut the artery. This stupid thing. We must stop the bleeding now. Give me the forceps. Forceps, I said. Hey, where is everyone? Fine. I'll manage this alone. I'll do it all by myself. I can fix anything, repair anything. So you have to get better. You have to live. You must. I would have been able to save her. If only I hadn't listened to her. If only I had treated her first. If only that Soren hadn't been there. Selena. No. Well, like I said, it's tragic for him too, because he lost the love of his life. Witness, are you finally ready to tell us the truth? You know, it's actually quite symbolic having the clock stop at times of death, like Selena stopping after the accident, and Dumas having the clock of the timekeeper stop at his death. It's like the time of the person has come to a stop, also, in a sense. So it was all a revenge scheme against Soren Sprocket. Do you have any idea how hard it is to lose someone you love, right in front of you? Selena's condition was clearly more critical than Soren's, but in spite of that, she said, "Please help Soren." It's Sprocket's last words, so that's what she really meant by those words. I was able to grant her a wish, but at the price of her life. So you got a job with Sprocket Aviation and waited for your chance to get revenge? You got close to Mr. Gloomsbury and hatched his plot, is that right? Gloomsbury already bore a grudge against Soren, so when I tempted him with an even better position, he immediately took the bait. He was your accomplice, someone who shared the same goal as you. Why was it necessary for you to kill him? I didn't expect Soren to strike Gloomsbury out of on the Vista deck. Sorry. And I certainly never imagined it'd make its way there along the outside wall. Soren's love is the real deal after all. My plan had been compromised, so for the time being I hid his body in the lantern and tried to think of my next move. And then Mr. Gloomsbury came to during the second wedding reception. As soon as I saw Gloomsbury, I instantly hit upon an idea. To pin the blame of Gloomsbury's murder on Ellen. You tried to break up the couple by making the bride out to be a murderer. How despicable. Soren was getting the company and a wedding, both things that were supposed to be Selena's. He took every happiness from her. Who's the despicable one here? Do you think what you did would make her happy? I know it wouldn't. But I couldn't just stand by, watching Soren enjoy his happiness. I was going to have Soren taste the same pain I had, and then take over Sprocket Aviation. I would take back from him all of the happiness that was rightfully Selena's. Also, I think that freak out was a look back on when he finally got to get to Selena. It was already too late to save her, so no one else was around to help her, but he tried anyway. It's pretty obvious that this is it, with the background images flashing like this. But yeah, you're right. Time stopped for me the day I lost her, just like this pocket watch of hers. Pierce. Miss Wyatt? I believe Selena would have said, "Leave this ill will behind, your time is yours to live." It's too late for me. Time will never advance for me ever again. What? It can't be. The clock started again. I see now, Selena. What I did was wrong. Well, I see no further need to continue this trial. Bailiff, please take Mr. Nickety away. I'm actually gonna cry. Yeah, it's pretty sad, yeah. Pierce Nickety, another inconsolable time traveler. Yeah, it is sad. That's true. We lived in time that stood still. Time stopped standing still for him. Now then, I must render my verdict regarding the defendant. Your Honor, before you give your ruling, would you please allow me a moment? Very well. Ellen, there's something I need to say to you. Yes, Soren? I've put you through something truly horrible. This whole thing happened all because of me. I would understand if you wanted to call off our marriage. What? You have not understood a single thing, man. Of course not. I've never once thought that. If you stay with me, you'll only face even more trying times in the future. What do you mean? The truth of this incident and the car accident before it. I'm going to tell the public everything. I expect the company's reputation will suffer and I'll take a lot of criticism. But I feel I can only really start over once I get everything out in the open. Then she'll be by your side and helping you through it all. She wants to be by your side, damn it. Soren. After all that's happened, I might not have the right to ask you this, but... Well, how should I say this? Will you marry me? Maybe I'll just... write it? Send the flying paper plane? What? A life with me probably won't be very easy, but... Will you marry me? Yes, of course. Well, it ends well at least. Your Honor, thank you for this time. Please continue with your ruling. Very well, but first I have one question. Do the two of you pledge your eternal love for each other to the goddess of justice, Themis? I do, Your Honor. I do. Does the prosecution or the defense have any objections? Well done, Your Honor. Let the confetti fly! No objections. The defense has no objections either, Your Honor. This court finds the defendant Ellen Wyatt, and that's not right. This court finds the defendant Ellen Sprocket not guilty. Yay! It's good to see her happy in the end, at least. Good job, Gumshoe. This court is adjourned. Okay. September 23rd, 11:36 a.m. I wonder if he married that other policewoman that he liked in the end. I'm not sure. Didn't they start dating? I can't remember her name. She was the defendant in one particular case or two, I think. Ellen, Soren, congratulations. Mr. Wright, I can't thank you enough. If you hadn't exposed the truth, Soren and I wouldn't. We wouldn't. But now you can finally start your new life together, right? Oh, thank you. Mr. Wright will be holding our real wedding ceremony in the near future. Would you do us the honor of coming to it? I want you to witness our fresh start. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And Ellen, this time it'll finally be happily ever after, right? Oh yes, the two of you preserved persevered and overcome this trial together. Maggie Bird, yeah, that's the name. And in one of the cases, her name was spelled out wrong or something. Now, no matter what obstacles come your way, I'm sure you'll be able to handle them. And there's another thing I'm sure of too. This person will always be watching over the two of you. The sister.
Take that!
Selena. Yes, I think you're right. And we promise to live to the fullest for Selena's sake too. Right, Soren? That's right. Well, we'd better be on our way. Yes, my love. Oh, cute. Wow, the old threshold carry, huh? Way to show off. We'll be seeing you. Goodbye for now. I'll be looking forward to that wedding. Hold on tight, Ellen. You better believe I will. I'm never letting you go. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. There they go. You're not thinking of going to that wedding by yourself, are you, boss? You're taking us too, right? Oh boy, I bet there's gonna be all kinds of fancy food there. Athena, when did you get here? Just now? I would have been here to cheer you guys on earlier, but Trucy never gave me a chance to slip away. Okay, what's that? What's that you're showing me? See, now every time before a trial starts, pal, I do the one thing I can to help out. Yay, not guilty. Interesting. I wonder if this is... I don't know, maybe this is fan art, but my brother started buying the manga, Phoenix Wright. I don't know how many volumes he has bought now so far. I should ask him sometime. Trucy never gave me a chance to slip away. You're going to be in even bigger trouble with her later. Okay, excuse me. Let me have a look at that. JFA Manual English 2. What's that? Courtrecords.net. From the manga. It's from the actual manga. Okay, hold on, because this one is not loading for some reason. Oh, well, the second one, I don't know why it's not loading for me. I see no reason why it shouldn't, though. Okay, hold on. Speaking of the wedding, maybe I should ask them to invite Edgeworth. Oh, okay, it's finished loading now. Well, thanks a lot, Detective Gumshoe, especially since we're technically enemies and all. You know, pal, Mr. Edgeworth doesn't get anything like that when he wins a case. Boom, boom, boom. Stop this. How utterly embarrassing. I'm not paying for that. Flap, flap. Guilt, eek. Okay. That's funny. Maybe I should ask them to invite Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, really? But he thought Ellen was guilty all the way to the end. That may be true, but... Don't even bother, his claim is dead on arrival. Victory is within your grasp, prosecutor. Quiet, witness. I have no interest in victory. All I care about is the truth. That's what makes him the best prosecutor. One that we can only arrive at through further deliberation. If he hadn't stood up for us when he did, the trial probably would have ended there. You mean Mr. Edgeworth gave us that chance? Maybe. Though knowing him, I doubt he'd ever tell even if I asked. But if that's how you feel about it, Nick, then why not try to get him invited? Hey, Maya, have you ever tried to catch the bouquet? What? No. I never have either. Fighting over a bouquet that's been tossed by the bride. Talk about a fierce competition. I'm totally stoked. I'm not sure it's really supposed to be all that competitive. I'm a pretty good jumper, so I think I've got a chance. She's definitely missing the point of the whole thing. And Larry, how did you manage to stay quiet for so long? Shut up! Wishing the lady you fell in love with every happiness is what a real man does. I'm pretty sure that relationship was over before it even began, Larry. Darn it all, if only I was 10 years younger, things would have gone differently. Hands of time, won't you turn back for me? Ah, you're telling me, Larry. You're telling me. September 30th. Sprocket Park. Today is Ellen and Soren's third wedding ceremony and reception. I heard the bride and groom insisted it be on the Flying Chapel again. In the end, they were nice enough to invite me and Maya, and Athena kind of invited herself. They also invited Edgeworth, Emma, and even Larry, but not Trucy. Let me see. The confetti at the end of each trial is actually thrown by Detective Gumshoe. I guess so, yeah. Victory. Who throws it when he's not there then? Does that mean he's still there then? Somewhere hidden? They also invited Edgeworth, Emma, and even Larry. Okay, excuse me, I need to click here. They say third time's the charm, right? I really do hope it's happily ever after for them this time around. Still, I get the feeling it's going to be one rowdy party. Is this it? Or do we get to see inside? Ah!
Okay, here we go! Huh?
Larry's the one who's gonna catch it. No?
Oh, hey! Look who's next!
Possibly he has helpers. Mm-hmm. Have you never heard of ladies first? That was an happy ending. Well, not happy for everyone, sadly, but well. So, these two little stories that were in the 3DS version, I guess they're not here then. Edgeworth and Phoenix like, you fucked up. Yeah, no, there's nothing else. Yeah, you get an alternative costume, I guess, but... I think it's one of the previous cases, isn't it? From the original trilogy. There was this, what's he called again? Well, there's someone in, I think it's the second or third game who, dresses like this. Someone really threatening like the tiger. Well, anyway. No, they're not there. The guy who claimed to be Phoenix. Yes, that's the one, yeah, actually. Illustrations. Nah, it's not, I guess it's not in there. I don't even know what that's supposed to look like, really. Phoenix Wright. It's the first non-canon what-if short story scenario in Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. The Tiger Furio Tigre from the court records. Okay. Okay, it's 30 minutes long. The first one, and well, yeah, I guess there are two. I don't know. I only have this one unlocked, and I'm not sure how to unlock more, to be honest. Maybe you need to go through an entire case without making a single mistake, or finish the game fast enough. I'm not sure what the conditions are for unlocking them. I don't even know how I got this one, to be honest. Is this from the 3DS version? Excuse me. Oh yeah, this is on the 3DS. Yeah, well, there are 2 extra little what-if stories, I guess, in addition to the rest, but I don't have them on Android, so... If this game comes out on consoles again, I really hope that they would include them, because otherwise the experience would not be complete. That would be a shame, but well... That'll be it then. I'll leave you guys to it for tonight. So tomorrow I have planned to play a short Switch game that I bought, which is apparently only like 4 hours long or something like that. But apparently it's a great game. It's called Gris, G-R-I-S. I'm gonna check actually how long to beat. When focusing on the main objectives, Gris is about 3.5 hours in length. If you're a gamer that strives to see all aspects of the game, you are likely to spend around 6.5 hours to obtain 100% completion. Yeah, well, that's what I plan on playing tomorrow anyway. It's not too long, and that way I will not have another game unfinished before I have to leave for a few days and not play nor stream anything for a few days. Anyway, yep, you're welcome, Monica. And yep, I do hope to sleep well when I do get there. You do the same. Hopefully I get to see you tomorrow. Take care until then, and I hope you have a good sleep. See you next time, take care, and thanks for watching. See ya, bye.